Hello, hello! I am the official name raider. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today we're looking at a complicated Pokemon. It says Donphan up here because that's how this is going to work. First, we're going to look through Donphan nicknames, and then we're going to look through the new Pokemon, Great Tusk and Iron Treads. Now this one's a weird one because technically this is one of 3 Pokemon that has a past and future versions. So Great Tusk and Iron Treads are in 2 separate Pokedex orders, but since Great Tusk comes first, we're putting Great Tusk right here, and this will be in order both in playlist and just, shit like that. As you can see right here, we've done this video before years ago. It says August of 2020, so it's been 4 years, because it's 2024 now, still. You'll be seeing this in 2025, but it doesn't matter. It's been 4 years, so we're going to see how the search results change. We'll go over everything. It'll be kind of broken down in a weird way, but we're going to see how things change and come up with any ideas. So I'm going to highlight this one because location-based nicknames, to be honest, I don't really think it's particularly strong as a name, but it's fine. Who am I to judge? We've seen crazier shit out there, so I got to give credit where credit's due. So I kind of like this idea, but I feel like in this case it sounds more like sports, and if you wanted to do the tire-like thing, you could do Goodyear instead, because that's going to be famous tire thing. Babar's familiar. Why do I recognize Babar? Babar the elephant, book character. Alright, we probably saw and talked about this in the Copperajah episode if I had to guess, because that's the only the elephant Pokemon I can think of. So if this video doesn't help you, maybe take a look at the Copperajah video. I can't think of any other elephant Pokemon, but Babar elephant, oh no, we've seen it before. Literally top result on Google, so that's fine as an idea too. So I don't even remember the last time I fucking watched Tarzan. Tarzan's pretty much completely out of my mind entirely. But I do want to highlight this one. First off, if you go ahead and search up Tantor, it brings up Tantor Media. I don't know fuck all about it, but if you scroll down a little bit, it shows the son of Tarzan, so I guess that's kind of relevant. I also think it's funny because if you look here at the little chapters, which are a reminder, I don't do any of this. This is all just YouTube. I love Donphan. That's hilarious to me. But right here is Tarzan, so I guess I talk about Tarzan in some regard. Maybe we mentioned Tantor. I don't know, but just for the sake of it, I'll highlight it. Dumbo was what I literally bitched about at the ending of the original Donphan video, which, by the way, I forgot to say. If you're interested in this video, it will be linked down in the description below, or wherever they choose to put the description in the future of YouTube. A reminder, the description used to be all the way over here on the top right side of the screen in the old days. But yeah, it'll be linked below if you're interested in the original video. I'll be honest and say the whole, Roll Tide, War Eagle, I hear that shit so much, and I personally find it cringy, and I don't understand shit about it. I am not from this country, but, not from the US, I should say. The internet is not a country. So I don't really do the foosball, Bobby Boucher, but if you're, one of those people and you like Alabama, sure. I think that's probably the only thing anyone likes about Alabama, if I were to guess. Alright, so I had to check this one, because this gave me Yu-Gi-Oh! Vibes, and this is how it's spelled, and this is what it is, that's what my brain went to. I recognize this. But personally, I don't think it's that strong of a name, but especially since they misspelled it. But if that appeals to you, sure, there's an idea, I suppose. Alright, so I loosely want to highlight Quake. Not because I think it's a good name, but because I looked at that and I was like, Quake is a video game. And, there's Earthquake, so it's not technically a move, it's part of it. It'd be like calling your Charmander Flame instead of Flamethrower, technically different. I don't think it's strong, but it made me think. Quick go over for Toph, we mention this all the time for ground-based Pokemon. Again, I stand by the idea that the best choice for Toph is always going to be Excadrill, because Toph learned how to Earthbend from the Bedrimoles. Horton, here's a Who. I don't know too many other Hortons IRL, so I guess it's not that common of a name. My favorite joke will always be, Horton, here's a hoe. Okay, well, we've reached the bottom for Donphan. This thing I don't understand, they're just kind of saying the same shit over and over again. That was it. Tucker, what's a Donphan? This was a bunch of not Pokemon. We're going to look at this in just a sec, and we looked at all of these. And then next we're going to go to Great Tusk. But first, let's look at the comments for the original Donphan video and see if you guys came up with anything better. Heffalump, I think I might have mentioned in the Copperajah episode. If I didn't, that's a good, obvious one as well. That's aside from Dumbo, which I did see a bunch of Dumbo just now. Translate to English. Good. Thanks. Okay, well, that'll do. We're gonna go to Great Tusk, but first there's this one right here, so I'm gonna click on this and see what comes up. Okay, I hate this, but I just had the stupidest idea. You could call Donphan Dumbo, Great Tusk Jumbo, like he's jumbo-sized, and then Iron Treads Mumbo, and they all rhyme, and then you have Mumbo Jumbo, but also with Dumbo. I don't know if there's any other, you could... Reminder, paired nicknames exist. If you can find a trifecta of names that could work, we did see one where it was the Cyclozar episode, where we saw Flintstones, Jetsons, and The Simpsons, and that, to me, works, because you're doing past, present, future. That right there is a motif. If you can think of that, and you can find a way to make it work, do that. So usually I just Control F this and just, go through it, but I saw this, and it said in given order, and Donphan is kind of obvious. I do want to highlight this one just in case we don't come across it, but I remember seeing, it was probably upon the game's release when I used to just look at other Reddit threads while doing Name Raider. Somebody put Tronphan as an idea for Iron Treads, and I'm okay with that, and I think that kind of works as rhyming with Donphan. Also kind of akin to like how people will name their Sand Slash Snow Slash or something like that. So if you have your own little inspired official name that you could do that for, that could work. Donphan is kind of in the same vein. I don't particularly think it's that great. I think Tronphan's a better name, but just for the sake of it, we're highlighting this. Okay, so I like this idea, because this is something, first off, I know we haven't seen before, and the wheel enemy is a common thing without the Kirby series, but they just go by the name Wheelie. I've not played Air Ride, I've heard it's really good, but I'd never made the effort into trying it, so this kind of works with that, but I don't know if there's any other way you can spin the wheel ability in Kirby into making it sound appealing, because I feel like the official name is kind of boring. So if there is something like that, that's an idea to consider, because Donphan is that. Okay, so there's a few things here that are all unintentionally, I assume, Flintstones related. We have Rubble, like Barney Rubble. We have Bedrock, which I'm pretty sure is the name of the city that the Flintstones take place in. Quarry, which is where Fred Flintstone works in, also the name of some old-ass PC game that I used to play as a kid. And then right in the middle, which is unrelated, Doomfan is another alternative Donphan name. I don't think it's particularly strong, but just for the sake of it, there's something to highlight. I'm going to loosely highlight Mayweather and Stallone. Not because I think they're good ideas for Great Tusk, but as a reminder, Great Tusk is technically a fighting type. So if you can think of a fighting type nickname that would actually make sense on Donphan, then that's an idea for you too. But personally, I think you're better off putting those somewhere else. Alright, so this is actually a result on Great Tusk, by the way, but since it's here, we might as well take a look at it, and the one that I feel is worth highlighting is going to be Snuffleupagus. That's at least something we haven't seen before. Rock and Roll, I don't mind that, but maybe put it on a rock type instead. Like Golem comes to mind, but even then I feel like it's a little too obvious. I just kind of want to highlight this one because it's funny, because it's nicknames for Tusk. And then we have Great Tusk down here at the bottom, which is why it even shows up on Google. But that's it as far as Great Tusk, which most of this really was just people complaining and being like, well, let's come up with our own idea for names, which I have no problem with that. But there wasn't really anything special, which is kind of what I was afraid of, because I remember, the Galarian stuff we were talking about, like, oh, well, maybe the search results will be better when we get to the Paradox Pokemon, because we're searching up Great Tusk nicknames and not Galarian Zapdos nicknames. Looks like the search results are still a little bit fucked, but everyone's just debating about the names, which, I don't think they're going to change. And people have their arguments on, like, well, the Ultra Beasts have names and in-game lore reasons as to why these Pokemon are named the way they are. It doesn't bother me, it's fine, I don't care, but that's pretty much what I was just spent my time reading. We do have comment suggestions for Great Tusk, which we're going to go ahead and bring up first. Zanzibar, Lord Zanzibar, we literally just talked about Zanzibar. Quaking Earth. That is also an official nickname, which he's one of the... I don't know if Iron Treads is a different one. I have Scarlet, not Violet, but we'll figure that out when we go to the Iron Treads nicknames. But Quaking Earth Titan is what it's referred to in-game. So technically, he has 2 code names because Great Tusk is a code name. Rameth the Great Tusk. I don't really have an opinion on that, but it does sound kind of familiar, and I think it's like some League of Legends character's name is Ramorous, and I really like that nickname, but it was for an armadillo. That's as far as my brain goes. This is a creative idea, but I'm not in love with it. Ironhide after Transformers character, we saw Ironhide, literally like a couple episodes ago? What the fuck did we even talk about? King Gambit, that was it. Yeah, we saw this one, I feel like, quite a bit in like Kanto and Johto, but not too much afterwards. If it appeals to you, cool. Donphan Droid is a nice pun, but I don't think that fits the character limit. Yeah, I understand literally nothing about this, but if this appeals to you, cool. I feel like he's continuing the tire theme at very least. So, there you go. In a weird way, also, for whatever reason, I thought about G diffusers from F-Zero. Not that this is a good idea, I suppose, but just a reminder, if you have Steel-type nicknames that have been sitting in your mind and you have nowhere else to put them, Metaloid made me think of like Metalhead, Metallica, stuff like that you could also use. Generic Steel-type nicknames. Elon Tusk is not a bad joke. Would I use it? Absolutely the fuck not, but I understand the joke. We keep seeing T-800, Terminator. Adamantium, that's X-Men Steel thingy from Marvel. I also saw Tonka in the Great Tusk ranker thing. I know that's like Tonka Trucks or something like that. I think it's a toy. I don't know fuck all about it, but I recognize the name. Iron Man, another generic Steel-type nickname. Heatran's always going to be the best choice because Stark Mountain. Or, if not that, fucking Armor Rouge. I'm literally at this point only highlighting Tesla just for that eventual Tesla compilation video that I get to doing. I am so fascinated to see how many times we come across this stupid-ass name. So I'm going to be real, because this, and this were all things I literally looked at for Great Tusk. I just kind of skipped it because I know if there was anything good for Iron Treads, I would have highlighted that there because that would have been relevant because we're covering both in the same episode. But since I didn't highlight it, we're just going to say we're done and that's it as far as Iron Treads goes. Now we have Iron Treads nicknames. Ungoja, another name for Zanzibar apparently, okay? Angry Bidet. And that's also the Quaking Earth title. Well, that's a shame. I thought they would have gave it some kind of different name. Burrowbot, the name of Sonic Badnick. I feel like Burrowbot. I mean, I guess it can learn. I would assume it could learn dig. I don't know if it can or not, but I feel like something more associated with digging would probably be better. Steelfant, the Iron Treads. Okay, wait, Steelfant, Steelyfant. Steely Dan, another generic Steel type nickname for you. Okay, this was a long ass thing. I'm up to 44 minutes in recording, and it's just been Donphan. I got a lot of stuff I'm going to have to cut out and go through. I didn't write anything down, because I guess I just hate myself for nothing really gravitated towards me that much. But hopefully you grabbed something from this. If you have any other ideas and suggestions, put them in the comments below. Give thumbs up to the ones you think are good. Be sure to separate the names, because I feel like very few are going to work for all three. You might be able to pass off a Donphan nickname on Tusk or Treads, but I don't think a Tusk nickname is going to work on Treads and vice versa. So be sure to separate the difference between them, and let's see what else you can come up with. Personally, I used the Donphan on my Scarlet playthrough because, again, there's just too much overlap with typing. Like, I would have used a Sandygast, I wouldn't have minded that, but I already had an Annihilate, so I didn't want to use 2 fucking ghost types, and Donphan was like the only thing that was kind of just there that worked. So when I did it, I named it Elephant after the character from the Goemon series. I mentioned that in the original Donphan video for you as well. I don't think it's a great name, but it's just kind of there until I can think of something else better. Which, now it's your guys' turn to see if you can think of something else better.